Cindy when I found out I was going to have this opportunity that I wanted to have the minutes. And she said, good then. Move right on from the invocation and what I wanted to say. So that was that little pause. I want to just preface what I have in my heart right now with a brief reading from the Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are we not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just for some of us. It is for everyone. As we are led to let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. For me, the fact that this day is here is a phenomenal demonstration of what we live and what we teach. I have been a Cindy practitioner for about 8 years, and so I have had the unique privilege in some ways of witnessing every step of this process, and if you all could possibly know the depth and breadth of the miracle that this day is and that it's happening right now for this center, you would never again question what it is to teach or the way that we live. And what I want you all to know as we watch this woman take this sacred vow is that it is coming from her toes, because she has literally had to find herself in every inch of her being in order to fully and completely come to this place that she comes to today. And if there is ever a person that lives this teaching with every breath and every prayer she ever prays, it's Cindy. I knew that the first time I knew that down to my toes. I'd already worked with her for a couple of years. Something happened at one point in my life, and it was very real and very riveting. And she was the one that was there for me at that moment. And I said, "This is what I need, and I need it right now." And she spoke the word in about a minute and a half, and it happened the next day. And I was like, "Oh my God!" And so this is the person that you are being embracing in this moment, and she will continue to embrace you in this center. And the extraordinariness of it, I know, will continue to play itself out in this community. So you're blessed, and I'm blessed to be here to share this with you.
Hey. Good evening. Ready to go with the rest of the evening? And Vicki, thank you so much for that invitation and your kind words for Reverend Cindy. And to Les for opening us with his grand welcome wherever he took off to. Thank you, Les. So it's an exciting time tonight, and it's my pleasure and privilege to get to be your presiding minister. Now, by the end of the evening, you're going to know what that means. I'm not going to talk about it right now. And it was an honor to have Reverend Cindy ask me. Now, I want to explain something. You see, people sometimes may not be directly involved with ministry and may want to know the importance of ordination. It's the most honored, significant, and sacred rite of passage for the minister and the church that she serves. And so I'm glad you're all here. I recognize you from Sunday. In some denominations, ordination is part of graduation from seminary. Anybody ever hear that? Yes. My father was a Presbyterian minister, and he got ordained in seminary. However, in the Centers for Spiritual Living, ordination is confirmed upon a minister who has completed practitioner training and ministerial training, and who has successfully performed as a minister in a field church like Orlando CSL or ministry for a number of years. The ministry of this individual, our Reverend Cindy, has been reviewed by the Department of Licensing and Credentialing, the Minister's Council, the Leadership Council at Centers for Spiritual Living Home Office. Those groups recommended her to be interviewed by a panel of her peers who made the final recommendation for ordination. Doesn't that make you go? For the minister being ordained, this ceremony is the fulfillment of many years of study, commitment, and growth. Most importantly, it is her affirmation that ministering to the spiritual growth of others is her lifetime dedication. Ordination is a celebration with the minister as she affirms her commitment to spiritual service. Now, I want to read some letters that we got in from various people, and they just really talked to me, and I think Vicki said it well in how they congratulated Reverend Cindy. So, I want to share some excerpts first. It says, "Dear Cindy, success takes perseverance, ambition, passion, courage, heart, humor, and talent. So happy for you at this time. I know your ministry will continue to bless the lives of many people. Thanks for all you do and for all you are. All the best in your ministry, Reverend Glinda and Marvin Davis." They're from Alabama, by the way. Dear Reverend Cindy, happy ordination from Reverend John and all of us here at Central Florida Center for Spiritual Living. We are so happy for you and know your ceremony will be a fabulous celebration of you and your work. You are ready to fly. Lots of love. All right. Now we have congratulations, dear Cindy. This one I'm going to have to put it. Never for a moment will I forget our first meeting in September 2007 at Colloquium in Santa Barbara. I was ready to walk away from ministerial school by the end of the second day. Please know you have had a firm hand in preventing that. I so wish I could be there with you to celebrate. I regret that other responsibilities will keep me from attending your auspicious event on September 28th. Please feel a continued rush of joy ensuing from my high regards for you as you complete this final piece. I am grateful, and I hope you and Paul can visit North Carolina again sometime soon. Reverend Barbara Jeffries. Now, Reverend Barbara was a colleague of Reverend Cindy's. Now, this one says, "Dear Reverend Shellum." Don't you like that? On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the membership of the Center for Spiritual Living Boca Raton, we congratulate you on the occasion of your ordination. What a marvelous day for you, for the congregation of your wonderful church and for the International Centers for Spiritual Living. Richest blessings to you, Barbara Lundy, Dr. Barbara Lundy. I have to mention something just because I happen to know that her parents were the ones that Ernest Holmes brought to Florida, stating that Florida had the closest consciousness to California, and Ernest Holmes wanted to come here to start ministry. And it was her parents, and so Dr. Barbara Lundy is still here in Boca Raton. Right. Another one. Every day as you dreamed, met challenges. I should have said, dear Reverend Cynthia. Every day as you dreamed, met challenges and worked hard, hope you could feel the support behind you from those who believed in you. Every night while you studied, hope you could feel the prayers that were going up with your name on them. And today, as you stand proud, hope you can feel the love and praise that's here in every heart, not just for what you've achieved, but for who you are. May God continue to bless you. Our love and blessings to you, Marilyn Leo, and the Hefferland Foundation. That's a very special one. The Hefferland Foundation is the foundation that gives the center, has given, I think, 2 or 3 grants to work on the building, and they also give scholarships to our ministerial students. So that's dear Reverend Cindy. All of us at Creative Life Spiritual Center in Houston send you love and congratulations on the occasion of your ordination as a religious science minister for life. Ordination, as you know, is a commencement, not so much the end of some probationary period as the unleashing of a person into a life charged with ministry to the global family. From the moment you graduated from ministerial training and well before it, you have gotten busy healing hearts and changing lives. Tonight, when that ordination stole is placed over your worthy shoulders, you will feel what all of us have felt who have gone this way before you, and what Ernest Holmes himself experienced at his 1917 ordination into divine science by Agnes Galler in Seattle. Dr. Dan Morgan used to call ordination becoming a priest after the order of Melchizedek. It's a simple ceremony commemorating a profound choice. Said Goethe, choose well, your choice is brief and yet endless. You've made your choice. Its success is assured, and its effects are endless and without measure. With love to you and all of those whom you serve and will serve, Jesse Jennings. Many of you may know Jesse Jennings. He's been a writer in the Science Mind magazine for years. And finally, Reverend Cynthia Ann Shellum. Dear Reverend Cynthia, how exciting it is that you are celebrating your ordination. I wish I could be there to celebrate with you. My heart is filled with joy for you and deep appreciation for the path you have taken to get to this special moment. I know your celebration will be meaningful and inspiring for you personally and those who participate. You have shown steadfastness and dedication in your life and in your ministry to reach this time of recognition. I wish you great success as you continue to shine your light and touch lives with your wisdom and presence. You are instrumental in awakening humanity to its magnificence and creating a world that works for all. Thank you. I am sorry I cannot attend your very special ceremony, but I will be thinking of you as your community celebrates this important step in your life and ministry. In light and love, Sharon L. Hudson, Field Leader for Centers for Spiritual Living. So, now we music.
Are you
ready?
I
I am.
All
All right.
As
As they're getting ready, Reverend Cindy has chosen music tonight
to
to represent times in her life. The first piece represents her first days at the First Church of Religious Science in Houston, Texas, in January of 1984. Songs still came out of a hymnal, and many were old stalwarts of her Christian upbringing, with a few words changed to match this new philosophy. But a few stood out as originals written for this new way to think about old ideas. This Is You, which is on the back of your bulletin, is one of these songs. So Nick Masani and Mark Pierpont, directors of music here at Orlando, will lead us in this song and welcome you to stand and sing along, right?
Oh, me? I'll sing part. Oh, no.
Thank you, Mark and Nick and Cindy.
All right.
Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you Reverend Natalie Beth Languri, who is a special colleague of Reverend Cindy from the Center for Spiritual Living in Geneva, Switzerland. And I also want to introduce Reverend Rosedale Jones, our own youth and family minister, to read the Declaration of Principles that was written by Ernest Holmes, and in 2000, the global vision that emphasized these principles in a new, updated language. So if you'd come forward, please. Thank you. So it's a great pleasure and honor for me to share in this wonderful occasion. Thank you, Cindy, for the invitation. I am here from Geneva, from Switzerland, happen to be here in town, and represent the Global Services Committee, and remind you that this is a global organization. We spread all around the world. So the Declaration of Principles includes a vision for CSL in a global way. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by the creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God.
We envision all people, all things, all life as expressions of God.
We believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in everyone, and that all people are incarnations of the one Spirit.
We see a world in which each and every person lives and enlightened with his/her highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other, a world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action.
We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding.
We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought, a world where each and every person discovers his/her own personal power and the ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone.
We believe that heaven is within us, and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it.
A world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life.
We believe the ultimate goal of life is to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all.
A world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness.
We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God.
A world where each and every person has enough food, a home, and a sense of belonging. A world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement and justice.
We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence.
We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is generous and continuous sharing of those resources.
We believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of the individual, and that any person may become a revealer of truth, who lives in close contact with the indwelling God.
We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm.
We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind, and we believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind.
A world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, love, through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics.
And we believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all.
We envision a world that works for everyone, the eternal loving kindness and the eternal forgiveness. Okay. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation.
And we believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny. For we understand that the life of all is God. Thank you.
I'm going to help her down the stairs.
All right. Thank you, Reverend Rosedale and Reverend Beth. That's what we call them. All right, and now I want to introduce our guest speaker for tonight, Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse. Tremendous spirit. Now, John was our first CSL president as our two religious science organizations merged together. And I know he did fabulous work. And then he became our first new field leader, reaching out to all centers. And he's the co-founder for this fabulous Center for Spiritual Living in Asheville, North Carolina, that I know Les and I are going to visit at the end of the month. And he has been such a loving support for Reverend Cindy and all of us. So please join me in welcoming Reverend Dr. John.
I can probably go up there. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight and being a part of this wonderful celebration. I am so honored and happy to be here. Reverend Cindy and I have a little history, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So being asked to share some thoughts as she accepts the mantle of ordination seemed like something I could not resist. So I am here with great delight and gratitude. Thank you. May you live in interesting times. You heard that phrase before? Yeah, some of you know. It's a Jewish curse. But if you get past that, the idea of living in interesting times is the truth of who we are. We are living in interesting times. I mean, all you have to do is watch any of the cable networks and see what's happening in the Senate to know we're living in interesting times. And most of us, and most of what you're hearing out there in the world is that that's not a good thing. That there's struggle and there's confusion and there's upset and there's fear. But the greater truth of all that is that the interesting times that we live in are opening up the possibility of us living in a better world. It's painful. It struggles. And that's why we have this thing called religious science or the science of mind. We have a place where people can come and heal those things that are keeping them from living their lives full out. So there's no accident that we're living in interesting times. It's important. And Cindy Shellum is not playing a minor role in that. She's playing a major role in this by stepping forward to be ordained as a minister of religious science. What does that mean? Well, we have these levels of things we talk about. We talk about the science of mind, we talk about centers for spiritual living, and then we go beyond that and we talk about the New Thought movement, which includes divine science and unity and some other organizations. And when you add them all up, it's still this tiny little sliver of humankind, the 7.5 billion of us on this planet. So how do we impact an entire world with our teaching if there's really in our organization only about 400 active communities? Well, the important thing to know is that it's not about how many communities we have. It's not about how many people walk into a center on a Sunday morning, although that's a wonderful thing. It's the fact that these walls, this building has walls, but our movement does not have walls. It's much larger than you might think. One example of that would be our center in Asheville, little city of Asheville, North Carolina. I think the 6th or 7th largest city in the state of North Carolina. We're not a big city. We're like 85,000 people. But every month on our website, where the classes that my wife and I teach, where the Sunday messages are kept, where there are some books to download from some of those great writers of years ago before they had copyright laws, so they can be downloaded for free from our website. Even some of Ernest Holmes' auditory or audio recordings are on our website. All of that going out into the world, and we're averaging about 12,000 visits a month. You start adding up all the ways people find this teaching, the way people begin to understand something different is going on in the world, requires all of us to do our part. And it's a bigger part than most of us think. So for Cindy Shellum to be stepping up today and being ordained, it's not a lightweight thing. It's not a little thing. It's big in her life. We all know that, but it's big in all of our lives. Because we must continue to expand who we are and our presence, and we must have committed people that will lead us. And Cindy seems to be willing to do that. God bless her. Now, I will tell you that Cindy's path to ministry has been quite circuitous. No direct line for Cindy. And what she tells me is that, and we heard this already, that she found religious science in 1984 in Houston, Texas. Reverend Al Reed was her first teacher. And she was all enthusiastic about it, and she went through the classes, and she became a practitioner, and she went through the ministerial classes, and then she moved to Des Moines, Iowa. And I guess she thought maybe she managed to get out without much damage. There wasn't much of the science of mind being taught in Des Moines. And so I think Cindy probably saw that as a little respite from all that she was doing while she was in Houston. But she wasn't there all that long before she moved to South Carolina. And by the time she was in South Carolina, she decided she wanted to spread this good news a little bit more and started a study group, a very successful study group, where a lot of people found our teaching, created a community, and supported one another. A study group is considered a very small group, but truly, a study group can be any group of people that are studying the science of mind. And in her case, she was doing exactly that. Of course, South Carolina didn't hold Cindy for all that long before she moved to Birmingham, Alabama. She and Paul moved there. By then, Cindy is saying, as she meets the minister in Birmingham, Catherine Crowley, Reverend Catherine was this feisty little woman with this giant consciousness. And she inspired, at least that's the way I'm hearing it, she inspired Cindy to say, I really am a minister in this movement. And so she approached the powers that be at the time and said, I'm ready to be a minister of this movement. And they said, great, start over. So she did. She started over. She took classes online. She instituted her practitioner license by going to the classes online that were offered through our home office. And she became a minister, and she got her license. And that took her about 20 years. So 2004, Cindy was licensed as a minister in our movement. Wonderful. So Birmingham wasn't the final call on this, but for a while she was there working, and Reverend Catherine was still with us at that time, and that's actually when we met. because I was the ecclesiastical representative for the southeastern United States, and I did a drive around in my truck and went to all the centers in the southeastern United States. So Cindy and I got an opportunity to spend some time together, and I was very impressed and really was encouraging her to the success of her ministry. And things happened. So Paula, she decided to retire. And where did they move to? Orlando, Florida. Are you getting where this story's going? That there must be some higher power involved in directing some of this within Cindy's consciousness to have her end up here in just the time that this community could really use her support. Now, speaking of this community, I've been around this community for a long time. I've seen the changes. I've seen the things that work, and I've seen the things that didn't work. And what's happening now is really working. And I think I owe that certainly to Reverend Peggy Hostetler, to Cindy Shellum, and to all of you. So, yay. So Cindy's here, and that was a 20-year trek. Actually, going from, it's 40 years now. I know, it is. It's actually 40 years now. So she obviously started all this when she was 3. But she's on a perfect path. And becoming this newly ordained minister who she will be from this point on, an ordained minister of religious science, a master teacher of the science of mind, we don't know how many lives she'll touch, how many hearts she'll crack wide open, how many things will change in people's lives that would not have changed were she not doing this. So it is highly essential that she do what she has come to do. Humanity, our humanity is getting ready to awaken. And not just through the science of mind, but through the teaching of truth around the world. We are waking up. Ernest Holmes started this thing called the Science of Mind. He named his organization Religious Science. And what he was a big part of doing was taking this teaching from backroom meetings, quiet meetings, like Emerson would have in his library, with a handful of people talking about these concepts, to something that could be openly talked about in life. Now, it's true that not everyone on the planet wants to be a religious scientist, and that's perfectly fine. But everyone on the planet can gain insight, understanding, and an increase in consciousness by expressing this idea that there's more going on than we can see. That we are all on a spiritual journey, that we are all awakening to our spiritual magnificence. That's the work. That's the work, so that our attention is not on the problems of our lives, but our attention is on our divinity, on the presence of the divine being within us. The fact that we really have nothing to fear. But the truth is that all things are unfolding in perfect order, according to that divine understanding. And now it's Cindy's job to bring that to the greater world. There's a term that kind of goes with this thing that we're doing. It's called open at the top. You may have heard that. That's who we are. We're helping people increase who they believe they are, who they see themselves as. We seem to be able to express this idea that the divine dwells in and as everyone, no matter what. Doesn't matter whether we like them, doesn't matter what they've done. They are the divine expressing in life. And that's what we bring to the mix. And we bring it in a big way. And this center, this work, the work that Reverend Peggy and Reverend Cindy and every other person that leads this community is bringing that message to the people of Central Florida. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing for all of us. And it has way more to do with the entire world than it does with any geographical area. Because people leave here with that understanding, and they touch other lives somewhere else. And then other people in other places come to Central Florida. And they want to be involved in a community where they can learn and grow. And they find this place. So we continue to support one another and have this thing that I say is geometric growth of our teaching. And again, it doesn't all happen inside the rooms. It happens around the world. It happens over coffee. It certainly happens on the internet. It's happening everywhere. And this center is a part of that, a big part of that, an important part of that. In fact, I say this center creates an incredible model for how to rise up from the ashes, to rise up from what looked like failure. It wasn't failure. It was just a process, a direction. So we have these heroes that have come and done this good work. But everyone that's ever been involved in this community has brought value to the process. Whether we were going down or going up, it doesn't matter. It all brought value. And again, I want to emphasize that the point of all of this is that we have a teaching that when applied to a person's life makes their life better. How could that be anything but wonderful? So thank you for your willingness to step up and do this. Thank you for the amazing way that you grace us with your presence here in this place, and that translates to your presence everywhere. There's one more thing that I want to share with you, and it comes from someone who has been a model all of my life. He's a well-known person. He was a preacher in Atlanta, a Baptist preacher. I was raised Baptist, so I have a sense of that. And it's not that I necessarily embrace the Baptist way, but truth is everywhere. I think have you noticed that wherever you came from, if you were Catholic or if you were Methodist or Presbyterian or anything else, that when you leave that and come here, you can get all the other faiths and figure out how they're teaching truth, but the one that you have to work on is the one you came out of. Because that's where your healing needs to happen. So I'm working on my healing on growing up Baptist, and I use Dr. Martin Luther King as my model. Dr. King was an amazing presence. He had elegant wisdom to share with the world. He was not the kind of person that needed to save souls as much as awaken humanity, which is what our task is. There's a story of a talk that he gave on September 12, 1962. It was the 100th anniversary of the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. Dr. King was the keynote speaker at a commemoration ceremony in New York City. There was a transcript of that address, but it was only recently that a recording of it was found. And I happened to hear that recording one day. And it was a beautiful address given by Dr. King. But the thing that got me was when he quoted from a Negro slave preacher that had lived long before then. A preacher who, as he said, in fact, let me just read what Dr. King said so I get it right. So I close by quoting the words of an old Negro slave preacher who didn't quite have his grammar right, but uttered words of great symbolic profundity. They were uttered in the form of a prayer. Lord, we ain't what we ought to be. We ain't what we want to be. We ain't what we're going to be. But thank God. We ain't what we was. We ain't what we was. We are not what we were. Because what we were, we didn't know who we were. We thought we were something less. And the truth is that we are something greater. So I think, Reverend Cindy, this kind of sums it up. That you're helping us see that we aren't who we were. That we're something greater than that. And by doing that, we really do change the world. The presence of the divine dwells in each of us. Not partially, but infinitely. Absolutely. We are the presence of the Creator of the universe. We carry that as our very beingness. And our work is to expand that awareness around the world. Some of it will be from people we'll never meet or know about, who will teach this idea under different banners and different names. We teach it under the banner of science of mind. But however it gets out there, that awakens people to their spiritual magnificence, that awakens people to the truth of who they are in the world, makes the world a better place. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to know. So the oneness and the presence of that divine essence is the highest truth to know. When we know it, things go well. When we forget, we struggle. So tonight is a night to celebrate that we have yet another person who has committed their life to this teaching, to this idea, to share this to the depths of her being and the heights of her consciousness, so that other people can embrace it and embody it and move through life with that knowing. There is no greater calling in my understanding of the world. So what you do is big. and I am grateful for you. And everyone here, I'm sure, joins me in that. God bless you for your love and for all that you do. Thank you. And I have one more thing to do, so relax, Catherine. This one wanted to come and be a part of this. So Reverend Catherine, or excuse me, I know your name, Cindy. I was over here, now I'm over here. Reverend Cindy, would you please come forward here? So what I hold here is a wing feather from the great eagle. This one comes from an eagle that lived in the state of Florida. Yeah. So this one comes in a good way to bless you on your path, to help you remember always who you are, to always keep this heart open and keep this mind free, so that you can bring all of yourself to these who love you and support you and who you love and support. So from all that it took to get here, you are released from that past. Keep what you want, let the rest go. And take this heart out into the world and touch the people. And allow their hearts to heal. And allow their lives to be enriched by you and the words that you share with them and the way that you are in the world. Because who you are is much greater than what you say. Thank you. Bless you. Ahome Takuyas. It's all yours.
Now we're going to have another song, and right after our song, we will be witnessing the actual ordination ceremony. So this is the next musical piece. Was first heard at Reverend Cindy's first campus gathering. A fellow student asked another fellow student, who happened to be the musician at our Dallas CSL, if the fact that she had happened to be the musician, if the fact that she had a full keyboard in her car would encourage him to perform an impromptu concert. And of course it did, he did, and magic occurred. In the midst of that mood, surrounded by fellow ministerial students, in the already spiritually charged atmosphere of stepping over this threshold, this song sent God bumps all over Cindy. And she thanks Nick and Mark for identifying the synchronicity of this piece to their own experience and taking on the challenge of stepping into this piece with all their hearts.
Yeah.
us.
Yes,
This is the actual time of the ordination ceremony. And it is my great privilege to be the presenting minister to present Reverend Cindy to be ordained.
My story. And right. My name is Reverend Dr. Ron Fox, and I am so honored to be here and to be the person that does the ordaining. But I asked Cindy and Peggy if I could take a time out here to tell you a story and put this in a little perspective. And it's a story about two people. One of them is Abe, who's 85 years old, independent, but he had a slight stroke, and he has to go live with his son. And Abe misses the park that he used to sit in when he lived in his other apartment. And so one Saturday morning, Abe decides to go find the park, and he becomes disoriented. And he sees a little boy named Timmy, and he asks Timmy to help him out. And Timmy says, "I'd really like to help you out, but I'm on a search for God because my parents are getting divorced, and I need to talk to God." And so Abe says to him, "Let's go to the park. Maybe God is in the park." And when they get to the park, Timmy starts to cry. And Abe takes his hands, puts them on either side of Timmy's face, and he says, "You know, Timmy, you're a really good boy. Your parents love you. It's not your fault, and it's going to work out." Timmy's mother's across the street and sees this and goes running over and says, "Who is that?" And Timmy says, "I think that was God." And his mom says, "Did he tell you that?" And Timmy says, "No, but he dried my tears, and he made me feel good. Only God can do that." When Abe goes home, his son says, "Where have you been?" And Abe says, "I've been in the park with God." And his son says, "What makes you think that?" And he said, "God sent me a little boy to make me feel useful again." And I think there's a couple of different meanings we can get from that. But for me, for tonight, one of them is God can speak through an 85-year-old man. God can speak for a young boy. And tonight, we get to witness somebody pledging that as best she can for the rest of her life, she's going to let God speak through her.
I'm prepared. Reverend ministers of religious science, we present to you Reverend Cindy Shellum to be ordained into the ministry of the Centers for Spiritual Living. This is where I get to say a few things. We've already heard from Dr. John and from Ron, and I know that I can't have too many minutes, but I would like to have you look around our sanctuary this evening. Just look around. See the other people here? See the walls in the sanctuary? I want you to know without a doubt, we would not be sitting here with one another. The walls in this building would not be looking so wonderful and pristine if we're not for Reverend Cindy Shellum. Back in 2015, I had said, yes, I'll come down from Ocala once a month and help to hold something together and see what wants to happen when this building was closed to us and up for sale. We just got started with that as I retired from Ocala and 20 years of ministry there. And a couple students in the School of Ministry were also students of Reverend Cindy Shellum. And I knew Cindy from the years I taught in the School of Ministry when she was a student a few years before. And they said, you know, Cindy Shellum and her husband Paula moved to Orlando. Well, it didn't take me one day to find her number still on my phone and call. And when she heard my voice and said, "Oh, when are you meeting?" And I said, "Well, the next time we're meeting is in the middle of December." She said, "We, Paula and I will be there." And she hit the ground running that day. Things started to happen. Even though we were not yet back in the building for months after that, she was willing to pick up the role and do as much as I was doing and more because she was the minister on the ground in Orlando. She and her husband were very supportive of getting things started when we didn't even know where it was going. And so I invite you this evening as ordained Reverend Cindy Shellum for you to see the gift that she has already given to us here in Orlando. And then be a visionary and see the gifts that she has yet to give. And I invite each of you this evening to help her in every way you can, and help me too, to do the work that's before us to do. Because this is important, isn't it? Okay. Okay. So Ron, you're speaking first now. Yes.
So, Peggy, are you convinced that Reverend Cindy is prepared and worthy for the office and work of an ordained minister of religious science?
We have inquired concerning Reverend Cindy and believe her to be both prepared and worthy.
This candidate has been found to be prepared and ready to receive ordination in the Centers for Spiritual Living, having now completed the required period of licentiate ministry. We are gathered here to witness a magnificent ceremony of initiation, welcoming, and transformation. Ordination is an initiation of a licensed minister into the lifelong calling of ministry. It is a welcoming on behalf of the family of ordained ministers of faith to one more into their ranks. Reverend Peggy Hostetler will now charge you with your ministerial commitment.
Reverend Cindy, I have to read this, but come where I can see you. Okay. Reverend Cindy, the ties of a minister to her ministry represent a bond that is sacred, empowering, safe, constant, and with this ceremony, everlasting. With ordination, you step into a new life of spiritual service and commitment. Ministry with its glorious moments of holy revelation and its changing moments of messy group dynamics, which we never have here, becomes your lifelong passion, your own classroom, your crucible. Today you enter into a path of no return. You become a minister for life. This union is to be undertaken with great consideration and respect for your ministry, for those people who comprise your ministry, and for yourself. Out of all the possibilities for giving your gifts to the world, you've chosen to be a minister for Centers for Spiritual Living. This is a tremendous blessing to us, and we want it to be a tremendous blessing for you. Year after year. Over the years, your ministry and you will change, but your unchanged commitment to the desires of your heart that brought you here today will ensure a life of sacred satisfaction in your ministry. Do not hold back. Give all the wisdom, the organizational skills, and all the love you have to give. Of course, love is the most important. A minister must have a breadth of heart that holds others' hearts, comforts, heals, and remains deep enough to serve your own spiritual growth. Do not be an island. Seek the help and support you need. Get your rest and take breaks. Remember, you are committed for life. And life is long. Let your thoughts be centered on the divine and seek to see the Holy One in every person you meet. I charge you, dear minister, my beloved Cindy Shellum, to teach, heal, love, minister to all, and may the peace of God be ever in your heart the truth of God be expressed through your words, and the light of God move through your hands and into the world that awaits the mighty gifts that you have to give.
That's beautiful. I wrote that. Reverend Cindy, the Centers for Spiritual Living has consented to this convening of this ordination service in recognition of the fact that your ministry is precious to it. This center offers you this celebration to honor your sincerity and commitment to its ever-larging dream of growth in consciousness that will lift the human spirit and heal a troubled world. You have heard the charge offered by Reverend Peggy. I prepare to take vows to become a minister for life in the Centers for Spiritual Living.
I am.
Do you dedicate yourself to respond faithfully to the needs of all those who call upon you? Will you bring the very best that you are into your ministry for the love of the people you serve and for your own deepening?
I will.
So now I'll ask you to please hold your hand over your heart as a symbol of the sanctity with which you take these vows. Reverend Cindy, do you promise to love and be loyal to the teachings of science of mind and to the ministry that you serve? Do you promise to minister to all those who come to you to the best of your ability and seek the face of God in all people? Do you promise to maintain your own special practice or own spiritual practice so that your relationship with Spirit is always fresh and new? And do you promise to promote harmony, peace, and right action wherever you find you are called to minister? If so, answer, I do.
I do.
And now please repeat after me. I, Reverend Cindy Shellum, commit to my ministry for my lifetime.
I, Reverend Cindy Shellum, commit to my ministry for my lifetime.
I promise to open my life to God so that I may hear what is mine to do.
I promise to open my life to God so that I may hear what is mine to do.
I promise to tenderly care for all who come to me in spiritual need.
I promise to tenderly care for all who come to me in spiritual need.
From this day forward, I will seek to make the world a place of increased love, peace, and joy.
From this day forward, I will seek to make the world a place of increased love, peace, and joy.
I will send my word forth to heal and to prosper.
I will send my word forth to heal and to prosper.
And I pray that God is fulfilled in, through, and as me.
And I pray that God is fulfilled in, through, and as me.
Beloved Reverend Cindy, because you have been found eminently qualified for ordination, and because you have made your sacred vows in front of your colleagues and friends, by the authority vested in me by the Centers for Spiritual Living, I now confer upon your ordination as a minister for spiritual living. Congratulations. The Centers for Spiritual Living has a special gift for you, which is a symbol of your newly acquired station as an ordained minister. Reverend Cindy has invited Reverend Neil Bravo, recently retired senior minister of Center for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral, to describe this gift. I came close.
Go row. Got to pick your skirts up on me.
Say
Hi, dear. Thank you.
stole. That we now confer on the newly ordained minister the symbol of commitment to the promises she has already made. Devotion to a life of spiritual service and a reminder that the power of the infinite one is available to all present whenever this minister wears this stole years to come. It is a garment of spiritual power. Your ordination stole is purple and gold, though colors mean different things to different people. Among people of faith, purple is understood to be the color of devotion, mystery, peace, and nobility. Purple combines the calm stability of blue and the fierce energy of red. It is trimmed in gold, which is intimately linked with divinity. Gold symbolizes wealth used wisely, represents illumination, love, passion, and courage. The satin fabric is a reminder that your ministry, just like your life, is woven from threads of many people, events, and understandings. And it is all these many different experiences that make your life, as well as your ministry, strong and a beautiful tapestry of truth. The smooth quality of the satin reminds us that in the rough spots of our ministry, if we lean into our spiritual being, it is one of smoothness, beneath, and ever present in the midst of life's challenges. Our science mind symbol expresses the triune nature of God, which continually reveals itself in the heart of our lives, reminding us that Spirit descends into and expresses as all form, that is all sacred, and all is divine. Every time we wear the stole, we are linked with all the clergy and spiritual teachers around the globe and across the centuries. You carry upon your shoulders the form and essence of your ministry, clarity, love, and the strength of a great philosophy and a rich and fulfilling way of life. This stole is a loving blessing to you and to all you bless in your ministry.
Haskins going to put it on.
Reverend Sidney, the time has come for you to accept this symbol of spiritual power. May it be that each time we put the stole on your shoulders for all years of your ministry, that you are strength from your spiritual worker from time immemorial, who also donned the garments of spiritual power. May you remember the love that accompanies the presentation of this stole here today. When you wear this garment, may you always enter the clarified partnership with the divine. And now is the time to bestow the stole on this blessed minister. You have chosen your husband, Paul Shellum, to bestow the stole on you. So I ask Paul to join us here.
He's right here.
Okay, I knew that.
I'll take it.
To everybody, I promised we'd be done by 8. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's interesting. They give us a manual about all of this, and it says at this time I might want to say thanks. Well, gosh, of course. Thank all of you. Thank you for being here. This is a really important day. I told John earlier this week when he called me that I still had a lot of question marks after the I ams, the I wills, and I do's, and that I would try to make sure I got rid of the question marks by Friday. So thank you for being here. On the moment, I decided to get rid of the question mark. So thanks to everyone here and also to all of us. I have been hearing from people. I've had lots of wonderful phone calls and emails from people, and so we know there's no time and distance, so thanks to all of them as well. But I really want to say a special thanks to those of you that are part of this center. Because what Reverend Peggy said is true. There would be no ordination of Cindy happening if it weren't for what's going on here. If this divine idea hadn't been so strong and so sure of itself that it needed to exist, that it drew me here and drew you here, and that we could do this together, this would not be happening. So for me, this is something for all of us. I get to stand up here. I said earlier today, I'm Supreme Goddess of the day, but this is something we have done as a group together, and none of it would be happening if it weren't for all of us. Thank you guys for taking. When I mentioned this music, it turned out it was part of your commitment ceremony, right? So you said it was a stretch. I'm going to make you stretch more often. Oh my gosh. Thank you. My board of trustees paying for all of this because they care, and I appreciate that. There have been some people individually here working as well. You're about to go in and enjoy a wonderful reception, and I know Heather and Gary's back corner and Manny have put a lot into that. Heather helped address the invitation. She's been here Les has been here all week redoing the entire soundboard with some help from Steve. A lot of people have been working hard to just make this all come together in such a beautiful evening. And then I want to tell you a little bit about the people that you saw here and why they're part of my ceremony. Vicki told you she's been my practitioner for a long time. She also got on a plane at 7 this morning and is getting on another one at 7 tomorrow. That alone should be enough, I suppose, to earn her a place. She said, I walk the walk. I have never met anyone who is more committed to wake up every morning and breathe and live this. And she stands for me because practitioners are the backbone of our movement. Ernest said so. All of us ministers were practitioners first and should never let go of the idea that we are. And so you've been doing this almost 30 years. And I just wanted to be sure that a really powerful practitioner was represented. And we did not have the practitioners in the room stand earlier. Would those of you who are practitioners please stand? And we have another emeritus, at least one. Okay. And just Reverend Neal is my mentor minister. He took that on. He didn't actually know me. I called him up and said, would you do this? It's part of coming to ordination. And I told you in the hall, I'm going to tell them. I kept trying to figure out. We don't talk that often, and when we do, sometimes it's at a bar. So I was trying to think, how does he know so much about me? Because he would write about me, and I was like, my God. And we had a hug in the hall, and I thought, oh, that's the secret. He just reads my heart when we get together, and it's all in his head. Beth and I were in ministerial school together, and I remember retreats where we both talked and didn't talk. I remember sitting out on the back deck and wondering if we were out of our minds to be doing this and how we could possibly go forward. But I also remember doing silent retreat with you. And an amazing day. And we had committed to wake up and be silent. And there was something wrong. We were the first ones into the space that all of us were coming into. I don't remember what was wrong, but it was major, and we needed to tell somebody about it. We couldn't talk. And so we stayed with our commitment. We managed to convey that, I don't know, the water was leaking or whatever it was to the management without ever breaking our silence. So and now you working together, because this represents my time in school in Rosedale, you've just finished that process and come to us, and you represent so much about the future of this organization and where we're headed and how things are going. And so you were a beautiful rounding there. Reverend John, you took care of you. I don't have to say too much more, except that you've been very involved in this center as well as my life, and that was the reason I felt that I just had to check in with you. And so I think you told most of the rest of the story. And Reverend Catherine. Now, these two ladies, this is like a wedding, which they've been telling you. This is like a wedding. This is Mama Peggy and Auntie Catherine. They have wanted it to be pretty and perfect and wonderful and everybody to come and celebrate. So thank you so much for all you've done there. And what a wonderful coexistence we have. And it wouldn't be possible
except to be us. And Reverend Ron, you may think he's here just because he's the position he's in, but that's not it at all. There came a time in this ordination when I wasn't sure I was willing to push through the paperwork and the headache and the lost records. And thank the good Lord, I got so frustrated I put his name on one of my emails of complaint. It seems like it was 20 seconds after I hit send. But shortly after I sent the email, he was on the phone. And he checked it out, and he got all his facts. And then I think he called you. And the two of them together made all the problems go away, some of which was me, but they helped convince me to get that part out of the way. So that's what the people are that you've been up here. And then, of course, there's my wonderful husband who was already at the center that I walked into the day I walked in. He's been in this teaching longer than I have and walked every step of this with me. And well, I don't have to tell you. You know about him and the support. Yeah, right. And the last thing I wanted to tell you a little more about the butterflies. If you did not get a bookmark, there's a saying on there. I wanted to expand a little further on the butterflies and why that's so meaningful to me. I suppose when I was little, I just thought a butterfly crawled into a cocoon, and after a while some wings sprouted out of its back, and that may be what we thought scientifically. But we have found that in fact, the caterpillar and the butterfly are two totally different beings that happen to coexist within the same genome. And so the caterpillar is going about its business, living its wonderful life as a caterpillar, and yet there's an inner yearning of some sort to make the move that moves toward the transformation. And when it does, it completely disintegrates in its fight against what it actually starts as imaginal discs that are the butterfly emerging. And the caterpillar thinks it's an enemy at first and fights it off, but it keeps forming and forming, and those cells cluster together, and then they continue to cluster, and there's a power in that. And I was thinking about that when Dr. John was talking about our centers and this message and how it moves out. It moves out because we band together. We come together in our clusters, and we continue to do the work and come together and emerge. And someone that guested here recently talked about you have to let the butterfly struggle to get out, because the resistance of that fight is part of what makes it strong. And so when we fight our own resistance to our own emerging into the moreness. But that's what I want you to remember, and the theme right on the front there about the caterpillar could never dream. Never had any imagination that told it that someday you could soar and you could fly and you could live somewhere bigger than a leaf. So that is why that is my message for today, that idea of transformation, how powerful we are together, and what lives within us, always ready to emerge, always ready to live that higher potential, that moreness that we came into the world with, just waiting for its chance to fly. So thank you very, very much for being here with me, and there's more to celebrate. And I'm going to turn this back over because we're going to be done by shortly after 8:30.
All right, we're finishing up now. So Cindy's final music selection is a song that shows up at important moments in her life. This time she got to choose to have it here. But notice that our practitioner of the day this last Sunday, Les, based his whole meditation on this song. So you're going to recognize it, and you're all welcome to stand and sing along. Now, when this song is complete, Dr. John will give our benediction. Then you'll hear some music for our recessional, and the ministers will be going first. If you just stay where you are, after the ministers are in the back, Cindy's group will form a receiving line, and you can greet us if you'd like. And then there is a gift table over here, and for cards or whatever. And also, please make sure that you sign our guest book. And join us in the reception and all the food and drink. in Piper Hall. Thank you.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world. I see cloud skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky. They're also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful
Please join me in prayer. Knowing that the presence and the power of the One is right here, within us and all around us. We are strengthened, we are enlivened, we are filled with that understanding of the divinity of our lives and all life. And on this night, at this special occasion, as Reverend Cindy Shellum receives the mantle of ordination, the world is a better place. It's fuller, it's richer, and it has greater promise because yet one more beloved one has said yes to their calling. So we celebrate, we give thanks, and we know that this is only a starting point for this center, for this movement, for Reverend Cindy and for all of us. So we begin and take the next step. And God is there too, because God is still all there is. That's the truth. And in gratitude and love, let it be. As together we say, and so it is. Thank you. Hey.